Everybody has a different color paper for this project. So before we start adding value, we need to figure out what the value is of the paper. So if we look at this value scale compared to the paper, what value is yellow? So it's much darker than value 0. I would say in this range, it's definitely closer to value 1. If you had a different color paper, let's say red, what value would that be? So it's definitely darker than value 0 and 1 and 2. So I would say it's more of a value 3. So basically, after figuring out the value of your paper, so like yellow we're saying is like value 1, that's going to tell us when we need to use the white versus the black charcoal. So anything lighter than a value 1, inside of your still life, you're going to need to add white charcoal. And anything darker than a value 1, you're going to need to start adding black charcoal. So let's go ahead and look at the red paper in comparison. So here on the red paper, we decided that red was going to be equal to somewhere around, let's say, a value 3. So anything below this, so value 0, 1, and 2, you're probably going to need to add the white charcoal. And anything darker than a value 3, you're going to have to add the black charcoal. So go ahead and look at your color paper and try to decide what value do you think your paper is. And then anything lighter than that, you know that you're going to start using the white charcoal. And anything darker than that, you're going to start using the black charcoal. So let's try to figure some of these out. If you have a black sheet of paper, then you know that your paper is going to be a value 5. And then anything that is lighter than that, which would be all the other values, you would need to use a white charcoal. So if you have a black sheet of paper, you are only using white charcoal. If you had a white sheet of paper, which none of you do, but let's say you did, then you wouldn't be using the white charcoal at all. You would be just using all the black charcoal. Let's say that you had this green color paper. Where does this fall? It's a little bit darker than the yellow, so I would say maybe it's somewhere around a value 1 or 2. So anything lighter than this, you would be adding white charcoal. Anything darker than a value 2, you'd be adding the black charcoal. Or if you had an orange sheet of paper, where would that fall in the scheme of things? So maybe it falls right between these two. And we can call that like a 2.5. So anything lighter than a 2.5, you'd add white. Anything darker than a 2.5, you'd be adding black. Now what about purple? Purple is a pretty dark color, so I think it's darker than this. So it's probably around a value 3. So if you have this darker purple, you're going to add lots of white for your values 1s, 0s, 1s, and 2s, and you're going to be adding the black charcoal for values 4 and 5, and 3 is already done for you. So let's go ahead and look at this example and compare it to the value scale from your element packet. If you look at this orange sheet of paper and you're trying to determine which value it is, it kind of looks more like it's a value 2. So when you're drawing on your still life and adding the value, anything lighter than a value 2, you're going to start adding the white charcoal. And then anything that's darker than the value 2, you're going to start adding the black charcoal. So as a class, let's go ahead and try to determine the values for each one of these colors. The next step before you start shading is to analyze your still life. Make sure that you have it in good lighting by a window or underneath a lamp so that you have some nice light sides and dark sides. And then you want to compare each part to another part. So if I was to look at the side of the toilet paper, I would notice that this is much darker than this side of the toilet paper. But then I need to compare it to the top. When you do that, you notice how light the top is and how much darker this side of the toilet paper is. So this would be a value 0. And this might skip value 1 and go to value 2, and then fade to value 3 right here. So think back to the element packet that you completed earlier, and you already shaded in a cylinder. Right here is where you have your reflected light in this image, your shadow edge, and your cast shadow. And now here are your steps. You don't want to outline anything. And so see this dark outline that you have going down the edge of the paper? That shouldn't exist, because the edge should just end wherever your value ends, like this. But you're going to start adding value like you see it. So we know that there's a super light area, so you can start adding white. And wherever you have darks, you can start adding those darker values. But remember we said that this orange paper was a value 2. And so anything lighter than that value 2 is going to start fading into white, and anything darker than that value 2 is going to start fading into dark. So the white and the black shouldn't really be mixing. It should go from white, fading to your value 2, and then adding black as you fade to your darker values. Let's go ahead and start shading. So you need your white charcoal pencil, your black charcoal pencil, and your smudge stick. You also need just a blank sheet of paper that you can put down underneath your hand so that your hand doesn't smudge all of your work. And another sheet of paper, any size, that has a nice straight edge that you can shade up next to and smudge up next to. So I'm going to just start with my lightest value. We determined that the paper is value 1. So anywhere I see anything lighter than a value 1, I'm going to start putting the white charcoal, which I see all the way down here. If your pencil line for your contours is really dark, you want to go ahead and lighten that up, because we don't want anything to end with an outline because it'll look like a cartoon. So let me just kind of lighten up these lines as we go. I'll know that this edge is here because the value ends at that edge. I can take a sheet of paper and shade up next to this edge. I would do this up next to any straight edge that I'm shading up next to. When I can, I try to shade in circles so you don't see a bunch of lines everywhere. Then I see that it fades from the 0 to my value 1 at some point. So I'm going to try to start fading out my value 0 by pressing lighter. And then you see my shadow edge is right here, and you can see my reflected light bouncing back up. So now I have my value 0, my white that I added in there, and then it fades to my value 1, and now I am very carefully looking at and just trying to add a little tiny bit of value for that shadow edge. It's a little extra dark right here, and it gets a little lighter there. I'm going to use one side of my smudge stick for my lighter values, and so my white charcoal, the other side of my smudge stick for the black charcoal. So I'm going to make sure I reline this back up. I'm going to smudge the white charcoal into the paper. When applying the white charcoal or smudging the white charcoal, you don't want to press super hard because you're going to mess up the tooth of the paper. So just lightly smudge, and I'm fading it into my yellow paper, so my 0 to my value 1. And then I'm going to replace this paper down here at the bottom, trying not to use the side that had the white charcoal on it. And I'm going to just smudge right up next to the edge. So I'm taking some of that charcoal down as I smudge. And when I remove this, it's going to be a nice clean edge. Where I can, I try to smudge in circles again. I'm trying to get a nice fade. You want to try to apply the black charcoal evenly because you can only smudge so much. If you make a mistake, charcoal is erasable, so you can just take a little bit off if you need to. Like that got a little bit high. Just prefer that to be down a little bit more. Re-smudge it in. And then I go back and forth and look at all the small details and add those in, any dips or bumps or anything like that. Then I'm going to go to my next shape right here, analyze the value. And I notice right in this pocket, it gets really, really dark. So I would say that's like about a value 4. And then it fades out lighter. Using my dark side of my smudge stick. See what I get, and if I have to go darker, I can go darker. If I need to lighten it up a little bit, I can. I think I want it to get just a little bit darker right in this pocket. And then I'm going to move my paper to the other side. Blow off your pencil shavings. And then fade this out next to that value 0. If there was any bump or curve in here, I couldn't use the paper to shade up next to or smudge up next to. But it is a pretty straight edge, so I can go ahead and use that. And there's that. As I work on the main part of the toilet paper, I am going to analyze where my shadow edge is. So the darkest part is here. You can see my reflected light. It's bouncing off of this onto the toilet paper, so it makes it light again right here. And this is my light side. My shadow edge, however, I'm going to really analyze it really hard, and I'm going to notice how it kind of creeps up and then back down. So you're looking at little indents across your toilet paper and trying to capture all of those. I'm going to lighten my outline because I don't want anything to end with a dark outline. It's not quite as dark down here, so I'm going to try to just lightly put some charcoal down here. Trying to make it nice and even. It does get a little darker, so it's dark, it has a reflection, and then it's a little darker again down here, not very much. Reapply my paper to smudge up next to. I'm going to try to get some of the charcoal off my smudge stick so that I can fade this side out quickly. You can also take a paper towel and twist it if you want something clean to smudge with. And smudge with that. Don't ever smudge with your fingers because they have oils and it's going to look horrible if you do that. Sometimes you can do little details with whatever is left on your smudge stick. I use the white side to smudge my white part into my yellow. So continue this process, keep adding more if you don't have enough. So maybe I need more darks to come down a little bit lower. So add more if you need to, use an eraser to take away if you need to. Look for creases, indents, bumps, that kind of thing. Once you've added all the details, values, indents, bumps that you see in your still life, you got to make sure that you add the cast shadow, and you need to finish your background. So when you are adding your cast shadow, just carefully look at it. I have a really strong edge to my shadow, but you might have a fuzzy one, so just do whatever you see. And then this really dark shadow coming in through here is going to make all of this start to pop. So I start adding my shadows, smudge that out. When it comes to the background on the table, am I going to leave the table yellow? Am I going to add a little value to it? Am I going to make the table lighter? Those are all things that you need to decide. But typically you would leave the table pretty light after you put your shadow on here, and then you would make your background dark. So my table edge that I imagined was there, so you're going to just put a table edge anywhere you think it should be, making sure it's nice and straight. See, I had it crooked before. And then I'm going to make this background really dark, because that's going to make the top of my toilet paper pop. I'm really careful in smudging up against the edge because I don't want it to get all fuzzy. Smudging in circles. Clean up your edges. So I want you to notice that I don't have any dark outlines anywhere on this piece. So values end, and that tells me where the edge of the shape is, not a dark outline. So some students are going to want to take their black charcoal pencil and they're going to want to do a dark outline. That'll look like a cartoon and it's going to look really bad. You're going to just have the shape end with the value and not a line. So make sure you don't make that mistake because it'll look really bad.